I have a very special guest with me. His name is Gabe, and he was actually the first person to ever sponsor me for CrossFit. He took a risk on little 22-year-old Matt Banwart, and he owns WOD Gear. He started WOD Gear, which was a huge CrossFit apparel company back in the day, back in what, 2011? When did you start?
Yeah. It was like, we launched in December 2011 at the OC Throwdown.
OC Throwdown. I remember that. That was when, that was one of my first competitions where I actually did really well. I think I finished 10th.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Did we meet there? Did we talk there?
I don't know if we actually talked there because we were really new to the space.
Okay.
And because I was CrossFitting, right? And I started CrossFitting, I believe, in December, in actually 2010, maybe.
Okay.
Or 2011. No, maybe, I think the beginning of 2011.
Right there.
Yeah. And
back when it was starting to get real big.
Just when it was really becoming something, you know.
That's fantastic. Tell us more about that. Tell us about like what got you into CrossFit in the first place. Kind of tell us your origin story.
Yeah, no, I was given a gift certificate for CrossFit Pasadena, which was around during that time, and I went and tried it out. And actually, you know what most people do, they fell in love with it. I fell in love with it, and then after just being a part of the community, you know, really loving the workouts, but loving the community. Right during that time, I mean, community was everything, and it was just awesome. And I was getting in the best shape of my life. And I think about 6 months in, I read an article in Forbes.com that said CrossFit was the action sports industry to be a part of. So I always had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. I've been in e-commerce logistics for a long time.
Oh, very cool.
I've always known logistics and like direct-to-consumer distribution and deliveries and warehousing and all that stuff. But I read that and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And so I did some research, and there were really, during that time, only a couple T-shirt brands based in Orange County that really within the community. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be the Lululemon of CrossFit.
That's awesome. I love how you said that. And I like how you brought that up because you're right. Because at that time, I don't distinctly remember anyone that was really a direct competitor to you. What was there at the time?
No, there wasn't really, because our focus was, hey, let's make, you know, because all the women were wearing Lulu. Right. So I thought, you know, let's make women's leggings and shorts and bring in men's shorts, and other than just being T-shirts. So I think we were really the first brand to kind of do cut and sew based in Los Angeles and making a really good product for women.
Yeah, you're actually right, because I do remember T-shirt companies, but then that was it. I mean, it was just a T-shirt with like something funny and witty on it, some CrossFit slang, like look at my snatch or something.
Exactly.
And then, but yeah, that's actually right, and I totally forgot about that you did bring in actual performance wear directed towards specifically CrossFitters. And I remember my favorite pair of shorts that I ever had was the WOD Gear short, because it was a perfect combination. It was kind of like a fight short, but it was very comfortable and easy to squat in. But it was thick too, so that way if you did cleans, I wasn't like scraping my leg hair off when I was doing cleans.
Matt, there's still dudes today wearing those shorts.
Dude, those shorts were awesome.
And they look brand new still.
I can't believe I lost them.
Well, you'll have to pick up our new stuff coming out.
Dude, I can't wait. That's awesome. Can you give us a little bit of background on WOD Gear and how it came, and like what your initial vision was back then for the brand?
No, totally. I think, like I shared, you know, I fell in love with CrossFit and having an entrepreneurial spirit. Read that article, and it really moved me, the Forbes article, and thought, you know, I think I could do something. And I had no apparel background, and you know, but I was a shopper at Lululemon too, right, for my own stuff. Like I'd wear Lulu working out at the box and doing the CrossFit workouts, and I thought, you know, there's something here and there's opportunity. No one's really making a woman's brand. I mean, we really were about focusing on women first, and then we brought the men's stuff in later, but nobody was doing it. So I just thought there was an opportunity, and I brought in a partner, a younger guy who was just so creative and had a great, just creative edge of design. And I thought, okay, I'll handle the business side, you handle the design side. And we actually, the initial stage was just like I said, you know, we're going to be the Lululemon of CrossFit. We didn't even know what that meant. You know what I mean? It was just like, let's go for it. Let's jump in and see what happens. And And we just launched with 4 T-shirts actually at the OC Throwdown back in December of 2011. I remember that day because what was really significant was we were the only one with a branded canopy. So we had a black canopy with the white WOD Gear logo, which was very distinctive.
Yes.
And in all the pictures, you would just see this black canopy with this cool white logo. So it really stood out for us.
That's awesome. So yeah, you were definitely a pioneer at that time. Now everyone, even their own gyms, have branded canopies at the local competition.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. Very cool. Can you share some notable moments or achievements that WOD Gear experienced in those early years?
Yeah, I think one was coming in with cut and sew, right? Making women's leggings and women's booty shorts, and like we were really known for our leggings and our shorts, the women's stuff to start because of the quality. We used a high-end fabric, and it was really either as good as or better than Lululemon because I get the same fabric from the same, like the people I get my fabric from, even what we're remaking today is the same fabric house that Lulu gets a lot of their stuff from or
Very cool.
partners with. I mean,
really good to know.
They're moving millions of units, right? So, and they have a factory over in Asia where everything's under one roof and they just, churn that stuff out. So I'm still limited because of the size, but the quality and the essence of the fabric, like there's women, I'm telling you today, I still see them wearing our booty shorts and our leggings and they look brand new.
Wow.
And it's like one thing we did was make a really good product and everything made in downtown LA. So I think that was one thing. And I think and then bringing a men's short, like you shared, I think that was another really pivotal moment for us in making a good product. I think for me, it's always been, no, we're going to make clean, high quality performance wear.
Yeah.
Right? So whether it's women's or moving into the men's wear, it was always key just to be of excellence.
Yes, I love that.
So want to bring that back again. And but I think also what was really cool is we moved into creating, which we were chatting about earlier, the WOD Gear Team Series. I think, and I'm not sure because it was some time ago, I don't know if we were the first brand to create like a team series.
I think you were. I can't recall another brand that actually put on an actual competition.
Yeah, and so and that was huge, and we did a really good event, and because we gathered a couple really just solid folks and CrossFit gym owners like Mike Tremello, Paul Ostad to come in and help and really do the programming and help create that event, and so. Yeah, man, those were some awesome moments.
Yeah, those were definitely the glory days. And it's funny, you never know when you're living in those glory days because I remember looking back and I did the first team series and I remember
at Occidental, right?
Yeah.
Occidental College. Yeah. Remember the big walls?
There was a swim. And I had to learn how to swim for that event specifically. Luckily, I didn't drown. Like I'm still here today. But that was awesome because it was also one of the first local events that had swimming.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And then after that,
I think that was the one at I think that was the one at Caltech actually.
It was at Caltech. Okay. Yeah. And then you had to swim, bike, and then run. And this is so cool because this is something that is very games-like, but not like, it wasn't over-programmed to the point where your average competitor could easily finish underneath the time cap. And that's what made it really special because we kind of felt like we were at the games without being at the games. And it was this huge community event where all the local gyms came out. Like all my friends were there. It was a huge event. It was definitely the best team events that I've ever done outside of regionals. That's for sure.
No, it was so well done, from the point of execution and really it was all the folks we had that were involved and like Mike and Paul, they were really the architects of the movements and putting all that together and then reaching out. And I think people were hungry for something, for a good competition, right? So I think at that stage too, it was something new. It was a team event. I don't think anybody was doing a team event, so that was new. And the first one we did, it was executed so well, and I think that started building the name. The second one, and then we did it at the Rose Bowl, and man, it was crazy, man.
Just keep on, just pile it on. That's awesome.
The Rose Bowl was amazing.
Yeah, and one thing I don't think people realize, especially if you're listening, you've never done a CrossFit comp before. There's a lot of logistics that go into this, and it's very hard to run a very excellent event.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, any other local competition I've been to, they fall 40 minutes behind.
Yeah.
The standards change.
Yeah.
The equipment is like, no offense, but trash.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I remember WOD Gear was like, man, we have colored plates. We have these nice barbells. Like they had, equipment sponsors.
Yeah.
We were literally using brand new equipment on the field, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And guess what? And then the coolest thing was you guys actually ran it on time.
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't laying around and waiting.
Yeah, that was.
And I think Tremello was really big on that. I mean, I said, he was the architect, and it was really like, no, we're going to be on time. And
love that.
He's like a staff sergeant, man. He made sure everything was in line. And, and moving the way it was supposed to be moving.
Yeah, he does such a great job at when he did Shakedown as well, which was the other only team comp that I enjoyed. And then when you brought him in for WOD Gear, I'm like, this is going to be good because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. No, those were some of the best times, man. I think that even helped to just kind of build WOD Gear, right, as a brand and an event holder that people respected and wanted to be a part of. And we had some, like I remember at the Rose Bowl, man, and even when we did an event at Caltech with the swimming, we had some high-level athletes there, like games athletes came and participated in our event, and it was awesome. It was just such a great time.
Yeah, times were so much different back then because you're absolutely right. Like I do remember seeing big games athletes coming in. That was like their kind of like ramp up for getting ready for the next season, and it's always cool to just. That's what made it cool back then too, is because like the people who you watch.
Yeah.
You can also compete with at a local level, and they're really cool. You can share the warm-up area with them.
You're rubbing elbows with them,
exactly.
Right?
And that's something that's kind of gotten separated, I think, in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I haven't followed a lot of the events that are here in SoCal anymore, but I'm definitely going to get back into it. And as we chatted, maybe doing another event may be something in the future here. So we'll see.
Dude, that would be fantastic. That'd be really cool. But that's for a whole nother podcast for sure. We'll have to have you back on. All right, let's kind of move back into the company of WOD Gear. Yeah. So you did decide to exit WOD Gear at some point.
Yeah.
And so could you talk about the factors that kind of led to that decision for like the hiatus?
Yeah, I think CrossFit, I was shifting a little bit. There was some uncertainty, I think, just in the community as a whole. And then, I was kind of alone at that time running WOD Gear, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, to be honest. And, and I didn't have the team or the people around me to really help build it out and to move it into the direction it should have been in. I think during that time of WOD Gear, like I shared with you, I missed so many great opportunities to really maximize the brand, and some influencers that we had wearing our stuff. Like I shared, we were in Shape magazine, we're in Men's Health and Fitness. Like,
yeah, that's so cool.
Like we really elevated the brand and known as a quality brand, and a lot of cool people. Not that cool. That's not the word, but athletes and people were wearing our stuff, but we didn't. Myself, we just didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to maximize it, and I felt like, man, I'm not sure I have what it takes to take this to the next level. So I think there were I think there were insecurities that I had, and
for sure,
and uncertainties, and didn't believe in myself, and so I think a lot of that played a part in it too. And I didn't know the direction to go in.
Okay. Well, let's say that you, like, knowing what you know now, if you could go back and do it all over again, what would be like your top 3 things that you would do?
Yeah, I would definitely bring some more people who have good strategy ideas and social media capabilities, right? Especially now, social media is so different.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You're right, because back then, like, we didn't really know how to leverage it yet.
No, exactly. So I think now I definitely, and digital marketing is huge. So, I mean, there's just applications that if you own an e-commerce company, because like my background is e-commerce logistics, right? So I'm dealing with big brands that are moving hundreds of thousands of product every month, right? That people are buying online. But Matt, they're paying like $1 million a month in advertising to make $1 million, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
But I think I think for WOD Gear now, what I have to really do is, it's kind of go back to the early days of, no, I got to become a part of the community and just go and be a part of, hey, can we come and do a pop-up at your box and just be there and rub elbows with box owners and the people that are in the gym. So I think that's the key. So I need to get some people on board who want to go and just throughout, really start in SoCal, but hopefully expand in other areas that want to go and just do pop-up shops and represent, the brand and just be with the people. So that's the first thing. And then digital marketing is key. Get someone who really understands that and can help with that, and someone who can really manage the social media. But you need money.
Yeah,
you need money to do all that
some working
stuff.
capital for sure.
So it's not easy. But I think especially with my background in e-commerce logistics, and I know how to make a good product. We still make everything in downtown LA right now.
That's awesome.
And if I can get the right people to help and bring them on board and really build a solid foundation to move the brand forward, I think there's a lot of room to be successful and do some cool things within the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the big impact thing that you're working on right now to kind of get WOD Gear revived? Yeah,
it's and that's a great question, because it's just, there's so many things that need to be done. Like right now, products being made. We did a pre-launch, and we actually had a good opportunity where a lot of product has been sold already because of the history of WOD Gear. So I think it's going to be important for me to get men and women under kind of our banner to be representatives. And I don't like the word influencer, but really advocates of the brand, right? Where we have relationship with them and they care about what we're doing and who we are and the message we want to send, and to be about community and represent something that's solid.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you said that there's a message you want to send. Like, tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, it's just coming back to community. Like, community is everything, right? Even in life, it's like, I think about life struggles and hardships. Like, if I didn't have the right community around me, like, I'm left to my own. It's like, forget it. I need someone there to pick me up. So I think if I could build a strong base of individuals and build relationships and just be about community, I think that's the big message we want to send, and build strength and be supportive to the community as well, and to box owners, and try and figure out ways of how we can support each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really kind of tying it all back into how things used to be.
Yeah.
Because, we were talking about this before the podcast on how, like, we've kind of seen a culture shift in CrossFit, where it used to be, it was a smaller, tight-knit community. And then now that CrossFit, it's great that CrossFit's gotten bigger and the events are bigger and the athletes are better. But then now there's this, like I said, like we talked about, there's this huge separation now between, it's like two extremes. It's like you're either a super high-level competitive athlete or, like, there's really no in-between now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this changes that you've seen over the past 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I think
just in CrossFit.
Yeah, I think there was a major shift. And like you said, I mean, the early days, of WOD Gear, I mean, there was such a big influence, especially in SoCal, right? Where a lot of the box owners would get together and just travel around and just do WODs at each other's gyms, right? And come and connect and be a part of that. And again, it's the whole community thing. And I think a part of that has been lost. There's still community within the gyms, right? Yeah. When you go, so that's still there, and that's I think the nectar, right? Of a CrossFit gym, but as a whole, with communities come together, you just don't see that anymore. So I think when you talk about what the impact and the message I want to send, and what WOD Gear wants to do, I mean, imagine if we start communicating like, hey, Matt, let's get together, let's plan, hosted by WOD Gear Clothing Company, event at Red Wolf, where we're bringing other gym owners over to your place. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we're behind that, and we're going to support it and pay for it, and, just bring people together again. So how could we work together about just creating that sense of community again and getting people together?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the mission behind it. That's really cool. And that's something that a lot of companies really do like these days, is having a true mission to actually deliver to just your everyday people who want to get fitter. That's awesome.
Look, because we all want to, we all want to be around each other. And, you know, there's nothing better. You see when people are working out together, like I shared with you, my wife owns a gym, right? Mm-hmm. So I do a barbell class every morning at 5 a.m., but there's like 7 to 8 of us. It's the best time. Like I won't miss that class. She's a CrossFitter, right? She goes every day. But like the little community of 7 of us, like I go there every morning because I love those people. I want to be next to them. I want to work out with them. Yeah. So I want to take that into what we're doing and what WOD Gear is going to be about, and really impact and build community again within the whole CrossFit theme.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's dig in a little bit more into WOD Gear and like the reason are there any more reasons of like why you really wanted to bring this back? And you know, how does it feel to be at the helm again?
Yeah.
And to be like bringing it back, and tell us about that.
Yeah, man, I went to the regionals they had in Pasadena not too long ago, right? And I think that's the first event I've been to in years.
Wow.
And
how many years?
Man, I don't think I've been to like an actual CrossFit event in 8 years, maybe.
Wow.
Like it's been a long time, you know. So it was so exciting to be there, and just seeing the excitement of all the people, and it was packed, and then running into, like I ran into Tremello, and you know, and just other people,
all the classics,
all the people that like I had relationship with, you know. And it was just it just kind of revitalized this energy in me of like, man, I love this community, and this is such a cool thing, and I think there's room. And then I went over into Vendor Village, and I didn't see a lot of brands that were doing what WOD Gear did, you know. And I think what excited me was, okay, it's kind of like the beginning when I first launched. I said, wow, I think there's room here to do something again. And WOD Gear had such a great name behind its brand, and a lot of relationships, you know, because I have another brand that I have that is geared toward yoga called Kumi Activewear.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I've been pushing that, but you know, it's just, I mean, it's hard. So I haven't gotten out of the apparel space, but I just think, like, I have a better energy within the CrossFit community.
Right.
And the name of WOD Gear.
That's what actually gets you fired up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love that.
And going to CrossFit, like even us connecting again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, it's just so cool to be here with you, and just us talking about old times. And like you said, we were your first sponsor.
I know. I will always remember that.
Like there's a history, you know. And when I started sharing about bringing WOD Gear back, like, the response has been amazing. Like people are excited. So that's getting me excited about just getting back in and digging in and trying to make it something special again.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, Gabe. So let's chat. I kind of want to go back to what you said before, where you said you were kind of lacking confidence, you were lacking vision and direction.
Yeah.
If you could speak, you know, fitness and business is really related.
Yeah.
So if you could speak directly to someone who's maybe struggling kind of they're in that middle ground where they're not really seeing a ton of progress, and they're kind of, you know, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, like what would you tell them?
You know, and I like the term middle ground, right? Because I like a good term for that is like the waiting space, right? When you don't think something's happening and you're making a lot of effort, and you're driving towards something, and you're like, man, is this thing ever going to pop? And like I shared, for me, I just felt like insecure a lot of the times. And do I have what it takes? Can I move this forward? But I would just encourage everybody who's struggling and questioning their own abilities to just keep moving forward, because you have what it takes to do it, or else you wouldn't have started this, right? You just put one step in front of the other, and every day just do the little things that keep moving you forward. It's so vital to just not stop.
Dude, that's so awesome. And that's great advice, because I know that it's really easy to be, you know, grinding, going hard, and trying to make, and, you know, doing that, putting one step in the other front of the other, and not even knowing is this even going to pay off. And I think a lot of times we don't see or know that the work usually precedes the outcome.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you know, I don't even think you know this. Like, I had a book published like 13 years ago.
Oh, wow, you did?
And I did a national book tour because I was a single father at the time.
Oh, okay.
and I didn't know what I was doing, but I had an idea and I kept moving forward and I put the pieces together and I put a good team around me and got a publishing deal and went and did a national book tour.
That's awesome.
So it's like, if you have an idea and you have a vision and just keep moving forward, everything is going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Just don't stop.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool, Gabe. So before we wrap things up, tell us, where can we find WOD Gear Clothing?
Yeah. So website is wodgearclothingco.com.
Okay.
And you can find us on Instagram, where there's a lot of action. And that's just at WOD Gear Clothing. And if you want to follow me personal, it's just at follow Gabriel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great to know, man. So great to have you on. We'll definitely have you back on as a guest, because you have some other stories that I would love to dig into even more.
Would love that.
That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you again. Thank you so much for listening. If this was helpful, please leave us a 5-star review so we know to make more content just like this. Follow us on social media at Red Wolf CrossFit, and feel free to send us your questions there. Until next time, good luck, have fun. Nailed it.
Yeah.